I'd like to call the order the Center County Board of Elections official return board at 1:10 p.m. Anybody here for public comment on anything not on the agenda? I guess would be a great time to. No one. We'll move ahead to approval of the minutes to approve. No.
Yeah, we have extra agenda copies, I think, too, right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. Under new business, I will turn it over to you, Michael, for a discussion on the vote by mail room ballots.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner Grisham. So we have here in front of me vote by mail room ballots that we as a returns board need to adjudicate. We also have a binder here that has the custody log between the Penn Stater and the Willowbank building. So it was signed by two of our workers up there with the security seals on it. And so we would just need to open them and start to adjudicate them. And I can walk through the different ones we have. You can look at them. I think some are going to be easier. We have many naked ballots, over 100 naked ballots. And we have some ballots that had a tear or cut in them that we would just need to look at and go over as well. So since I brought them here, we could have somebody other than me appropriate to verify if the numbers are set and true, and we've got our snippers here as well.
Okay, bin A. Steel security numbers 4426.
Check and verify.
4446. 4446. On the other side, Mark, is it 4426?
4426, yes.
Okay.
Starting with double six.
And these were certified by Gina Buckley and Daniel. Last name here, Michael.
DePodlin. Yeah, that's a good one.
And these were certified at 10:07 to 10:10 afternoon, so they are fresh here.
Okay.
Okay. All right, guys, Mark.
All right. Left side. Right side. Open it up.
Yeah, let's open them up, take them out, and I can walk through each of the categories. Some are a lot easier than others, and some will.
All right.
Yep.
Start with the first folder.
Yeah, so there's going to be 4 folders in here. What these 4 folders represent is they represent ballots that we attempted to scan 3 times through the DS450, and they did not scan. So those would be the first ones there.
Oh, issues with the tracking, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. So we can maybe put those in a stack at this point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's keep them in a stack. These envelopes are naked ballots. These are basically all naked ballots.
All right.
Got naked ballots there. These are ballots where it was just very interesting things occurred in terms of it's glued in there. It's it's not an official secret envelope. It's actually one that David hand drew the letters. In addition, we have one that is happened. The outer envelope did not contain either an inner secrecy envelope or a ballot. It was just an empty outer envelope.
Blank.
Totally blank. We had one here where with the inner envelope, and we had about 8, where supposedly, and we'll get to one of those, but there was nothing in the inner envelope. Next was that the ballot was either cut, torn, or sliced in these right here. Next one was that the inner envelope has a text mark or symbol which reveals the identity of the voter's political party affiliation, or the voter's candidate preference. Slide out there. This is the ballot is cut, sliced, and or torn. are naked ballots. We have more security seals as well. So essentially at this point, these there. What I'm doing essentially is just putting the order of basically most likely won't count to most likely will. These are all the naked ballots. These are all of the voter has an identifiable mark on the inner secrecy envelope. That was just a cute set. Not contain a ballot. Let's just put those over there.
Yeah.
There's no ballot. Outer envelope doesn't have anything in it. Inner envelope does not contain a ballot. So in essence, these would be the ballots. We kind of just talk. We can talk out loud about this. Again, it's the first time we've ever done a vote. So this is the first time that we've ever done a vote by mail room. Ballots of this magnitude. So we're obviously going to have some additional errors that we have to look through. So essentially, the thinking would be us needing to adjudicate. Take obviously the longest. Are these sliced or unreadable scanned ballots? So those are going to be, from my estimation, again, it was just because there was a tear on the edge, something very, very easy. These are going to be the ones that we could probably whip through and just verify that there is no secrecy envelope apparent, and would be easier to adjudicate. And these, again, are the text marker symbol that identify the voter. So again, all we'd have to do is just have a threshold of what that mark is, and we'll be able to go from there. So again, it would be just to think, is thinking out loud. Again, we do not have any. The time frame on this is essentially 5 p.m. on Tuesday, November 10th. So we have essentially a week to look at these, process these. That's the vote by mail room ballots that we have to look at. Mail-in and overseas, they're in the possession of the elections office. They have those. And then, of course, we have to look at the segregated mail-in ballots that we receive with a postmark up until Friday. And then provisionals we really can't do until Saturday, once we've gone through all the ballots we receive on a daily basis up until Friday. So essentially, I think that the largest work that we have would be to go through these, which I think are most likely not going to count. In many instances, we don't have a ballot, so it's impossible to obviously.
Yeah.
But we do want to track these. We want to basically say this is how many we have, track those, and then these here are going to be the ones that we're going to need to verify the candidates that are in each of those. So we can, again, first time that we're doing it to the scale of magnitude of this type of vote by mail ballots. So I bring it before the board with greetings from the vote by mail room to see how we want to proceed.
One other question, I guess, if it goes back to an issue yesterday, there were probably some naked ballots or some other voters were contacted about their ballots.
This is in the vote by mail processing room?
Yes. Could you please explain that? Because it's a concern to me.
Sure.
I did not know anything about it until quite recently.
Sure. So when a naked ballot was identified in the vote by mail processing room, authorized representatives, anybody who's in the room, if they wish to verify that it is a naked ballot, is able to do that. At that point, if they would want to take any information for who that voted, they were allowed to do that. So essentially, so from that standpoint, that I would assume that's how then if voters were contacted about issue that they have with their ballot, that's how it would have come to fruition.
Were they my knowledge, that once a ballot has been identified as naked in that process, that it is a spoiled ballot. My indication is that there were individuals contacted and that were visual balloting, which I find troublesome.
So the way that the election code is written, or the way the process works, is provisional ballots are not tallied until ballots have been gone through, have been verified. So one of the decisions we will have to make as a voter. So again, it's important. These naked ballots that we have over here, we have to talk about how, from a system standpoint, we go back into the Shore system to cancel their vote. So that's what. So under the theory would be that if a
When you
voter
say cancel their vote,
sure.
how would that vote be canceled? In other words, explain that. What your rationale is there.
So we have, for all these naked ballots, we have, for example, I'll pull this one out there. We know this voter. The voter has information here.
Right.
Okay, so we can't destroy any of this.
Right.
This
No, I know. I appreciate that.
We, as an election officials, have access to this information. We also have to verify. The last thing I was going to do is just we need to be mindful that bringing these before us so that we can verify that they are introduced. So essentially, we have to have a discussion about what do we do now that we know that that's a naked ballot, and how do we update their Shore system. There is the ability to cancel, to mark it in a certain way within the Shore system, essentially. So that would be what we would discuss doing. So basically, we need to first verify that these are truly naked. And the next step is, well, what do we do with them? What are the next steps? We store them, obviously, but potentially we go back to the Shore system to say that vote was canceled. Because it's going to be looking like, from a voter perspective, that they voted in the election. They didn't. They did not. Their ballot does not get counted. So, so we have to, that's something that we again would want to get staff guidance from in terms of.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm troubled by the fact that then we're contacted and provided a provisional ballot. Because my understanding of provisional balloting is that you have to sign an affidavit that indicates that you have not, quote unquote, voted up to this point.
Sure.
And
Yep.
I find that troublesome that an individual actually would, for all intents and purposes, voted twice. I was not aware that there would be any situation where individuals in the room would have access to a number of naked ballots and be able to contact voters. That is extremely troublesome to me.
So I'm talking about process, but I can talk about personally. So I stress the fact that if a voter can cast a vote, I personally will do everything that I can do to make sure they have the opportunity to do so. Let's talk about how this will look. So let's say that somebody casted a naked ballot, and we essentially decide that you voter cannot vote with a provisional ballot. I'd be curious to know, if this vote won't count and they came to a polling location and cast a provisional ballot, why shouldn't their provisional ballot count?
My understanding, again, of ballot, as it were.
Right. So if you spoil a ballot, you get a new ballot.
I don't know that that's the spirit of what they were indicating. I guess that's maybe
Happily, you can happily have it. But from my perspective, we know that their vote did not count. They were issued one ballot, it did not count. They vote provisionally, and when we get that provisional ballot list, we keep track of these ballots, we can organize them by last name. And we're flipping through and we say, no, they had a naked ballot, but they voted provisionally. From my standpoint, they've only voted once. So they have given us two ballots, but this ballot had a roadblock. Can't go to, it's not counted. So
I would suggest that we have a judge of elections. Again, I find it troublesome that I did not know anything about it until after the fact, so I guess I struggle with that one.
So it's much like at a polling location when a voter comes in to vote their ballot. So when a voter walks in, you have a watcher. So let's talk about it from that perspective. There are authorized representatives or watchers that are at a polling location. Individuals that are coming in, that watcher is able to essentially say, okay, this person has come in, they voted, check. If they notice that a person has spoiled their ballot, or let's say that there's an issue with the machine, there's an issue with something, and that watcher is essentially saying this machine is not reading the devices or not reading the ballots when the judge of elections is trying to put them in. That authorized representative has a list of these voters who have voted or attempted to vote. They can call them and say, look, you should come back here. This machine is not reading. I would urge you to come back here to cast another ballot because your vote wasn't scanned when they put it through. So in terms of having access to individuals that are voting from a polling location standpoint, it's essentially where you think about it. That watcher is watching the proceedings in the room. They see somebody come in, and if there's an issue, they can reach out to them and contact them. So again, from that perspective, I have no issue with it. I personally think, again, we're extending the opportunity for people to vote. But from so I'm just looking from a purely person, we're basically safeguarding their vote. There have been many times in certain instances on election day where we've provided people a provisional ballot in the instance that they're not sure if they've returned their ballot. They're not sure if they haven't. And I think we have always said as a board, vote a provisional ballot. We're going to have a very strong process that at the end of the day, it either will or won't count or partially count. And it'll get to a stopping point eventually. It won't go through the process. If they've cast the same day ballot, the provisional ballot won't count. So, but again, I think it's
The other problem I have with it, quite frankly, is just the element of fairness. There would be some voters that were contacted and say, hey, you had a naked ballot. Other folks did not have that same opportunity to rectify their vote. I am not familiar with what the law indicates as far as what a watcher has privy access to. Ballots hanging out there. I was under the fact that the watchers would have access to.
And maybe this is helpful as well. I mean, again, we can talk more about it. Again, there may be 0 people who voted provisionally and had to make a ballot. Would that be fair to say? We may get to it, but there's nobody. We're going to cross-reference the list, and it didn't happen. But if there's one person who voted provisionally and they had a naked ballot, we could have that conversation. Or if it's 50, we could have that conversation. Much like there could be individuals received a provisional ballot it was recommended to them that they should go to their polling locations to cast a provisional ballot if they didn't yet receive a mail-in ballot or it wasn't credited in the system. And so if voters were concerned that their ballot was not yet returned, they could be afforded the opportunity to vote a provisional ballot. Again, the provisional ballot's not going to count if they return their mail-in ballot. So again, it's a check and a balance. So, but I understand. And also, and I'll say this as well, is authorized representatives when there's a lull at the polling location have the opportunity to look at the number list of voters to see who has voted and who hasn't voted. So that's another, and also they can see if a ballot was spoiled as well. So, if they notice that there's a mark through the number list of voters, and they notice that a ballot was spoiled, they'll be able to see, okay, that person spoiled their ballot. And clear as day, you're going to see blank pipe line through it. I spoiled my ballot. So, again, I appreciate what you're saying. I think that there is enough of an opportunity within the Vote by Mail processing room as we had in the pre-canvassing event, where if you think about a watcher in a polling location, look at these number list of voters that have the list of spoiled ballots, why should an authorized representative in the pre-canvassing group also see the spoiled ballots that occurred in there? Again, we can. I think my suggestion would be leave these till the end. Focus on the ones that we know. I think I would suggest this as a board. We could probably agree these should be counted. Either they just weren't read through.
But there will be a cross-reference for the folks that would have had mail-in ballots and then later official ballot.
Yes, there will. Yeah, there will be. Correct.
An individual cast mail-in ballot. Okay, it was in the room. At that point, it would be issued a provisional ballot as a replacement. There would be a trail. There would be an identifiable trail of those two actions occurring. Am I correct?
Right, so if you were issued a mail-in or absentee ballot and you voted it and returned it, if we tried to credit you a provisional, it's gonna flag you, they already voted. So that's what's gonna happen with these naked ballots. Now, my question is, before you can count the provisional, because the guidance originally said naked ballots weren't to count, I think that legally we need to know if we could count that provisional that replaced the naked ballot.
We need some clarification on that.
I am fully supportive of us getting clarification.
Because I'm really troubled by the fact that there are individuals out there that would cast a mail-in ballot and then turn around and ask for a provision. That troubles me.
But there is, I hope we would agree, there is a difference between someone who does that knowing full well that they're attempting to try to vote twice versus somebody who made a mistake and is trying to rectify their vote.
Well, I also have a difference. If our elections office contacts somebody and says, hey, we received your ballot, there's an issue, or your application, and there's an issue. Third party is what concerns me, because I don't know what level of fairness, because I believe that if one person's contacted, everybody should have been contacted. And that's where I'm challenged by this.
So, but here's the problem with that. Or my just 2 cents on that is there are certain individuals in Federal County who, so every piece of data when it comes to who requested that application, who filled out their application, who sent it back, and who mailed the ballot, that information is all available. Also available to any third party group. So I got mailers left and right from people who were saying you didn't return, not you didn't return. As a third party group, basically buying or downloading this publicly available state information and essentially saying, I'm going to send mailers just to these people. And so if a third party group has information that they then begin to contact voters with, that's at the discretion of that third party group. So again, if it's publicly, not publicly, yeah, it's public information available. And again, it's much like if a voter, if there's a poll watcher at a polling location and they choose to just call people with the letter A in their first name, get them to vote. God bless America. I mean, that's okay. But so there's no rule that a poll watcher or an authorized representative has to reach out to every single fairly and equally. That's not how that works.
Well, again, I was under the impression, this was just my impression, that once ballot entered the mail-in ballot tabulation area, was the end all and all of that ballot slice.
Sure. And
the provisional ballot to me is contradicting that logic, and that's where I'm struggling here. We'll have that conversation.
Yes.
I do actually have a question. So I understand a naked ballot is different than an overvote, but legally, those people aren't contacted. You have to override that being counted. So can that be well, you contacted the naked ballot, I overvoted, I didn't get to fix it. I mean, are we going to get kind of...
Well, this was being done by third-party individuals.
I know, but if they choose to count the provisionals for people notified about a naked ballot, you don't get notified if you overvoted. So they don't get afforded the opportunity to fix their ballot. It just gets fed through the reader. You have to override it. So I'm just wondering legally, is that going to cause a problem because you're notifying people who you can identify and you're not notifying people you can't identify?
Well,
I don't.
It's a fair point. Yeah, I think it gets into the fact that that's a single vote, not invalidating the whole ballot. It's a single vote.
Okay, so that being said, that'll be, we can have that discussion as we move forward into the original things. I would just like to know what the total of those are, and they will be identifiable as folks that have been recognized as having sent in a mail-in ballot, but at the same time, they will be recognized as having offered a provisional ballot.
The fortunate thing is that the verification of provisional ballots will not be able to occur until Friday at 5 o'clock. But there would be the opportunity to file this, so we have it available. Make it easily.
Because those would have been available at that time. They would have had by 8 o'clock yesterday evening to have voted the provisional.
That's at the polling location.
Right. They would have had to go to a polling location and David for the have that conversation. How would you like to proceed?
It's a pleasure of the board, but we may want to, and again, I think if we want to do a double verification of certain things occurring, for example, with the naked ballots, if it's simply where we each take a stack, we divide it to 3, and we basically say, yep, all naked.
Naked, missing.
Well, we can
We'll
do.
keep them separate.
Yeah, we could do missing. Yeah, we could start with missing. I'm just thinking the nakeds are there's the big one. But yeah, let's say we start with blank. We could each look through them. So the triple verification, I think that might be worth just pass them down. And then, that might be a way to do it. Yeah.
There'd be an opportunity if anybody wants to observe the final.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would. We have to adhere to some sort of social distancing. Enough task where.
Well, we can go through them and then we can maybe
Yes,
set them over there
absolutely.
and people have the opportunity to review them.
Yeah.
Is that fine with folks that are here?
Honestly, whatever you're comfortable with. If you want us to go through every single one, and it makes you comfortable with that, please let us know. I mean, we can't, sort of like, magnifying glass, but we can be as thorough as you need.
Let's start with the low hanging.
I think low hanging fruit
Start
is.
with Mark and Wolf.
You want to go that way? These are going to be your. Again, and I have to stress this as well. Our extractors turn these in. We had a runner that put them into this folder, and so according to them, and we flagged one here that there is a ballot in one of these envelopes that says inner envelope does not contain a ballot. But I didn't want to just take it out of there, the site, and just say, oh, let's count it. So,
Well, that's where you're the.
exactly. So that according to our extractors, that should have there should be no ballots in those inner envelopes. That's how they were received.
We're here to verify.
Absolutely. Right.
Other eyeballs.
So
Even
chain
if-
of custody on this one. Nothing in that envelope. Oh, I think here's the one you're talking about.
Top, yep.
There's ballot in here. At least one bubble filled in.
There, you want to.
So somebody just checked off the wrong box. Is that the
That
issue?
would be or they just didn't see the ballot.
I would separate that out.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. A ballot in there. Okay. No, nothing on that one.
And it's up to us after we verify if we can remove the issue form from that if you wanted to. At the very end, yeah. And then that would be a way that we say, okay, we're done.
All right. So all of the rest of these are completely empty. So shall I just orient this one differently? Maybe put it on top?
Yeah, sure. Yep, right.
How did you start with the next one?
All right.
There we go. So you're going to have that one. It should be an outer envelope.
It's coming out of envelope.
I don't think this is going to be as excruciating as it appears.
I think a little bit of whatever.
This is an important check and balance process. Yesterday we had at the Bryce George Center about 167 or thereabouts. Provisional ballots that were offered. And I'm guessing which one off the top of my head.
This is the sort of
We probably have at least that many throughout the rest of the county, so we'll be going through at least. I would think that's 300. I don't know exactly.
Because that one's going to be cost. That's going to be a little more complicated.
Provisional ballots.
if people are, has anybody put anything in the chat or anything? I know. You are a quiet bunch. You have questions. Jump right in. We want to. Again, this is, I'm always a big believer. If we haven't done something, I want to let them know that, so it doesn't look like we're, if you have questions, let us know. So we appreciate you being.
So this box is take it out.
Think about, that's right, you have to think about. And what we could do is,
I'm going,
no, I was going to make a suggestion.
okay, this is the one that has the ballot in it. So I will sit it. About as empty as empty.
So what I would suggest is if we,
Okay, if we could just maybe set those over there. Maybe move Margaret's stuff.
essentially what we have is, this is a third right here of each of the naked ballots. We could each take a look at them, sign the folder, and then just go around a few times. Does that work? Okay.
Okay, except this one doesn't have a folder.
Oh, you can just use the box. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, we're signing a folder.
Do we have, can we combine, so we don't need, I would suggest, once we put them over there as being rejected, we can, let's keep the extractor. Yeah, do you mind getting those folder? I don't
These
think,
do not have privacy involved.
that's correct, yep. So, and again, according to the, is that okay?
Oh, yeah, sure. I see. Yeah, I don't know. That's okay.
Yeah, regrettably, there's going to be a number of oil ballots.
Michael, I know you're very organized, but sooner than later, I'll need a list of your naked ballots as that's why too.
We could use, that could, like, what do you got?
I have an envelope that contains the instructions, and it contains a security envelope, but it appears that they did not put the ballot inside of the security.
And the naked ballot.
That's still a naked
Yep,
ballot?
That's a naked ballot, yep.
So, there's a security envelope in there, it just,
Got to be inside.
Yep.
All right.
Yep, got it inside. Thank you, Ally. Would that be a Dulce thing? What do you think? Dulce could maybe tabulate them, or we could have somebody from our business staff. Not
You
you
need
all.
type a list for me, so I
Yeah.
know who they are.
Could Dulce do that?
Yeah, we just need to let her know, come back in. Yeah, I just basically need to know because the receipt that they're given, when I enter that into Shore System, it's going to mark that receipt that they were issued, whether it was counted, declined, yada, yada.
Got it.
So I don't want to do that for someone if it ends up that legally you can count that provisional and I've already marked it as rejected.
Maybe just do Excel spreadsheet with tape with headers, and then just,
And Laura could do it too.
yeah, Laura,
But you're not going to hand them those envelopes. So you have a list that they can get those names from.
say that once again.
So the ones that you have right there that are naked,
Yep.
do you have a listing of those names? But you're not going to want to give them those envelopes to type in, are you?
Dulce.
Okay.
The Dulce, yeah. I don't think that is.
Okay.
Would it be helpful at the end of this, would you all like to know the numbers of these?
Yep, we'll give them to you here as soon as. Let somebody else count.
And 6 that were completely empty.
Great question. And would you mind doing
And then there was the odd one that had the ballot in it.
we can verify that.
Has to be physically in the envelope.
Correct.
7 empty.
Does the envelope
7.
have to be sealed?
That's the thing to talk about.
I don't believe it should. I don't think it has to be, in my humble opinion.
As long, here's what we're doing. Well, if the flap was sealed over, in terms of it's closed over, from my standpoint, it should be okay. I don't.
Yeah, as long as the envelope is, the privacy part of it, it's already in a sealed envelope. It does create a certain element of concern if it comes out of there and just roll around.
Yes, that's the problem. Yep. But we had a few people who just put the envelope and the secrecy envelope right next to it. That does not. And we also do have the ones, and we can do those tomorrow, the ones that were.
Affirmation.
Yep, we can do this tomorrow or Friday.
Thanks for your patience out there. There's a huge thank you in order to all of those that helped not only at the ballot, mail-in ballot area, but also everybody throughout the county. It's quite an incredible effort.
Yeah, poll workers did a great job, great job. How many, what was the earliest thing? What was the earliest arrival and the latest arrival?
I know the
Liberty
latest
Township.
trial was Liberty.
Yeah, Liberty was the last. I'm not sure. That was not precinct 24. I will say that there were some high school students that
Yeah, there was always are. 40 of them, so, 40 or so?
yeah, at least.
Okay.
Exactly. I'm going to roll over that.
Anybody have a pen?
You
Yeah.
dropped a whole
I'm
bunch of your
joking, I
feet.
know, I'm trying to be a funny guy.
You're in favor.
I know.
All right, so how many was that?
Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark it on here and then pass it along, so, yeah, once you're done your stack, just give it a count, put it on the folder, and then we can all verify.
Got way more.
Oh, then I'll take some from you. Hey, I'll take it.
I'm working my way. I'm almost done.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right,
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I'll do that.
That's something to look forward to every 4 years. That's change.
Yeah.
Sometimes the gubernatorial numbers aren't small either.
Almost.
No, we're-
One stack.
I also also have another question, actually, that you guys will have to decide on. So if these people did not cast a provisional ballot that is capable of being counted currently, because we have no idea if the ballot,
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, if anybody would like to walk around here and see half or we
They're all fine, we're on. Blocked on the right.
Actually, I feel better. Would you mind looking? I'm not sure, just,
Denise Sterling.
and either of you guys, please, let's.
All I see are about
Oh,
1,000
yeah,
pens.
I knew that.
Lots of pens.
The number near the top.
Yeah.
And then what I just signed it.
Yeah, the initial is on it, yeah.
Here's the bell.
I think, no, he finished it and put these police station, your downtime, I guess. Actually, so there's another, what's that, is that the other folder? Actually, identifying marks might be one to go through. That is going to be one that's going to be. You might
We'll
need
have to have some discussion on it.
Yeah, right. You want to do that one differently?
Yeah.
Want to open that together? Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
I think the public has.
True. Yep.
The other is just weird stuff, so we probably all want to do that at the same time too.
Yeah. That might not be bad.
It's down, can I go out? Get my coffee?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Sometimes they could look like they could be in a.
Yeah. Where's the temperature at? Is it low or high?
it's high.
Could you put it down, maybe, please? Thank you.
I don't know if that's spotlight.
And then push the button in. Thank you.
Will the light turn off?
No, it stays on. We want, yeah, I guess on is, there we go. So this is an example of ballot envelope that is not enclosed.
Okay. There's one, that's an example of the envelope is in there, it's actually sealed, but the ballot is separate from that. Okay, what,
Yeah, great. No, unfortunately, that's my second. I'm gonna delay the process.
Basically seeing if I can see either side of the ballot or basically if you flip it, if it's all white, either side of it should say official election ballot.
Sometimes they fold them inside out, so.
Yep. Yep.
You have to look thoroughly.
We have 6 people on there?
Yes.
Okay.
Hoping let them go to sleep because of nap or something.
This one, it's inside it's inside the valve.
Oh, yeah.
But there's no bottom on it, or it's cut from the bottom.
Is it inserted in a way where the cut of the outer envelope is the same direction?
I don't know, it's actually in there.
That's what I mean. So, did you happen to see that? Or did I? Was that mine? Is that mine?
So, Steve, did you get that out of the box or a different?
Yeah, out of the box.
Oh, what is the check mark? Yes.
Note inside with naked ballot.
Yeah.
Pull that out.
Yeah,
Okay.
pull that
Yeah,
out.
yeah, pull that out. Yeah.
Because it actually,
Because I saw the note and I'm like,
it's
oh, there's
slit.
a note.
The top of the envelope is slit, but you can't leave the envelope.
I would almost think that would be an envelope. It also got slipped. Both ballots got slipped. I can't see a voter.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
that's fine.
Yeah. Well, look. Tallies on these, how many are already?
On that, that's Mark's. I think Mark had a key tally yours.
Yeah, and I stuck a folder in it.
Oh, did you?
I think it's on the
Oh, yes. Yeah.
bottom of the list. You've got that.
Yeah, I think you might not have tallied this one, Steve.
I didn't add them up, no.
No, that's exactly what it's actually. Just so we have 3 eyes on it. That's us.
I'm sorry, I was just checking your address.
That has writing on the other side of the yellow.
Oh, yes, yep, I can give you clarity on that.
Yeah,
Yep,
I'll put that
Yep.
over.
yep, yep.
What is this?
What? Oh, no. I just didn't know which way. And
Instructions are in there.
Yeah, that was interesting. But here's I can tell the ballot was not inside of the secrecy envelope.
No.
now it's too cold, right? Now it's too cold. Cold now.
Let me turn it all the way
I
down.
know, but now it's, all the way down?
We also write our total on here too. As I'm stacking, I'm trying to stack them in tens. Here, the entire stack. This goes back to Steve. And then if you could give me another stack.
Yep, this is, both Steve and I have gone through this.
Okay, good.
But, we would just need to return to his account.
Oh, okay.
All right, so this one is good to, or that's.
I am going to replace,
And I can, yeah. Did you, and you're just setting this aside for now?
yeah,
Yeah, okay. Yep.
gonna put them inside this envelope.
Yeah.
Inside. Do whatever we need done with that. Sometimes your mind just goes blank. It's like, what am I doing here?
No?
It might have to do with a little bit of sleep deprivation.
Maybe.
Also being dehydrated,
Yeah.
was not drinking as much water this year. So
That's what I got before.
feeling it today.
At the Rice Jordan Center yesterday, the woman that I was working a lot with had a Fitbit on, and I think she was up to 40,000 steps.
is amazing, because I can go for a 4-hour bike ride and get credited with like $20.
I think the Price Storage Center got a 30-yard wall every time I went around. Michael, do you feel that sometimes it needs to hold it and interferes with the reading of the ballot?
It's yeah, for using the folder down your purple sheets. On almost 99% of them, there's going to be an issue with the alignment markings on the outside. That's my guess. The machine does a pretty good job of the way that it rolls it through, of kind of spreading it out. If you don't back bend it, it's jammed.
Right.
That's the big thing. So,
I'm just wondering, sometimes they're folded crooked or. Okay, what else you got?
so this was the one that you had sort of separated out here. That's not right. So this was the one that was 5072.
Okay.
Oh, maybe the marks or we go through those. Those are the kind of two. I think is that all good?
This is good.
Did I do that one yet? Is
Yes.
that all good? Okay.
Yeah, all three of us.
And then I just used my count was good with this. All right.
Oh, man. All right, it's loose.
Yeah.
Yep. Once finished, maybe you can explain what's going on with this.
Well, once he's done, I don't want to distract him.
I think there was one Steve needed to recount, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
That's probably the one I've got,
Is that one that one?
because I just verified 74.
Something that, how you,
Before you, once you get it stacked together, I can talk about these ones.
Well, and I'll pass it down to Steve to recount.
Yep.
something comes up on the fog through set of glasses, what you're saying.
So.
There you go.
Okay, so this note says, I incorrectly put my ballot in outer envelope instead of smaller one. I reopened the thing in the correct envelope, but then had to glue it shut. Not want to think anybody was tempted with it. It's got a cut. I don't know. This is open. Note inside with naked ballot.
But if the ballot's inside of the envelope,
Yeah, it was cut open. The note's irrelevant. It's,
right, so since the note wasn't written on the secrecy envelope itself,
Right,
it's
right.
not theoretically identified.
inner envelope has text mark or symbol which reveals the identity of the voter's political affiliation card. So it doesn't. The inner envelope doesn't have it. Fine. And I would think that it was open with this. Yes.
Because the seal, the regular seal in the envelope does look kind of sloppy-ish.
Okay,
Okay.
we have, 3 files of
Once we get this one, we give the total out. And this is the one that had the note inside. So the thinking is that this got opened up, machine cut.
Yes.
When this one did. But I would think this would be good.
That is good, as far as I'm concerned. It actually,
So-
the ballot can't even come out of the envelope, it's not slicing.
Right.
It's entirety.
Yeah, right, exactly. Right. So,
Does anybody else want to come witness that? There's just, there's one ballot, just
yep. any issue, any questions that we would, I think it'd be our determination to count it.
Yes.
Put it in the count, but if there's any questions related to that, you can take a look and if we can do with it whatever you'd like us to do.
Yeah, just,
But it,
we have to respect the secrecy of the,
yeah,
of the voter,
yeah,
of the actual ballot.
yeah, if you want to do it.
But it's not sliced end to end. Like it was accidentally cut by the.
Yeah, and I actually can verify, so when I was trying to get it out, and actually you need to get a little, so.
Yeah, there was a little extra
Yeah.
part there.
Yeah, and even on that,
Yeah.
there's a little extra part that has to be cut.
Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, all right, so we would then,
Where do we, okay.
where we want to,
I would keep the paperwork with it.
but it wouldn't, it'd be bad to separate at this point, so we don't have any, because we have a pile of counts, we would want them to be,
Yeah, but I would keep this,
keep this with it,
that with it.
with this one or with this one?
We want, however you want to do it, just
Okay.
keep it all together, so.
Okay, we can just,
I guess you don't want your counts, but it's not.
well, I think it would rectify itself if we would, well, let's remove them later, let's not,
Right.
so that's a
Hold
count.
on to it.
We wanted to put, yeah, there we go.
Good.
Count.
Good balance, is that what I?
Yeah, good.
what I-
Good balance. Now, this one is where we had two naked ballots. They are naked. I think you go, 59 is. Yeah.
You wanna take-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, where did we get this out of? We have to put a -1 on it.
Yeah. That's why I put the +2 on that one.
+2. Okay.
So,
Okay. So these, did you count these as 2 or 1? This one that was in here.
counted those two separately.
Two separate.
The one that we just looked at, and then,
There were 2 in here.
yeah, I think they were together, but I
Yes, yes.
didn't count them that way.
Oh, you counted them as 1?
Yes,
Okay. So that would be an additional 1. We might just need to do
because they were together.
Yeah, so here's what happened. So we had two naked ballots in the stack of that box, but then we have these 2 forms, which are both naked ballots.
But we don't know which form matched up to which envelope.
We tried to verify by looking at the batch number. We have a sheet that has batch numbers on it, and then we tried to link it back to when it was scanned and when it was boxed, and we couldn't make them match. So these I don't think are really, so these, it's either like this or it's either like this. These both don't count. I don't think there's any,
There's no way to determine.
they both don't count. Yeah, neither of them would count. So I would just think that we would just sort of, these would live
But we have
together.
to add one to the count.
Add one to the count. Okay.
For mine, because at the +2 to indicate
Okay.
they were together.
Yeah, and all up to that's 1. That's 60. Tracking 1 is good. So then we left back. There's 59 in this right here. Note saying that it was attached. All right.
And then this one as well.
Those are the slices.
Yeah, these are the slices.
Do we want to do those, or do we want to do some of the others first?
That's up to you.
I would think doing the others, just
Okay.
because I think these are, they should all count. It's
Right.
just that they weren't able to be read, so. So 74 plus 59 plus 53. 74 plus 59 plus 53. So. Yes, they would be spoiled ballots, or eligible rejected, maybe.
Okay, where are we at next?
Others, so there's the others there.
All right, and I think You wanted us to kind of sort of look at them all at the same
Yeah,
time?
I would say, yeah, we could each do like a third of the pack, we could kind of, I would say.
Oh, I thought we were gonna do, like, talk about it one at a time.
No, I know, but then you could pass me once you're a third through, and then Steve could open them up, just so we're not all, if you want to handle them all, you can.
All right, well, no, okay, see, I thought what we have here, this says that they enclosed an application, which also, probably because it was light, got sliced.
The ballot, is there anything in that envelope?
This is it, it's an official,
There's no ballot.
there's no ballot, there's just
That's
an
pretty
application.
self-explanatory.
I would say that does not.
Yeah.
I would say.
I'm gonna run it through if you
Well,
want.
I mean, but that would be when we report, we report 40,000 votes.
That's not a vote.
I'm saying,
That's not a
I'm sorry, if we had 40,000, because this was in a return on, we're gonna be light on the total ballots cast.
We have 9,
Okay, and what about this one?
we have 9,
Let's hack.
ballots, 1 application.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Should we process these? Should we give these to you to process?
Well, you don't have the outer envelope to the one with the application, right?
Yeah, the one in the application does not have an outer envelope.
Yeah, so that person, whoever did that, is showing that they cast a ballot, and it's gonna have to stay that way. I mean, is their name on it?
Oh, no, it's the I'm sorry.
It literally is the application,
It's
not
an
the ballot.
application for a mail-in ballot.
Right, but whoever sent that in somehow had an outer envelope, and whoever's they used is gonna show as marked in the computer as voted.
Oh. Well, no. Well, yeah, okay. All right, sorry.
All right, well, I have another one here. No, I have several more that don't have outer envelopes in the other stack.
Well, the application one's an issue because it's not an actual ballot.
Right.
Tisha's point is, somebody gave them their secrecy envelope. That's a legitimate secrecy envelope. But out there's a mail packet that doesn't have their secrecy envelope. When that person turns in their ballot, it wouldn't count because it didn't count.
But that's gonna be separate. This is totally.
Right, that's just totally.
But also,
standalone.
if that person didn't use their thing,
Right.
it's
Anybody
still
wanna see that?
showing as voted because they mailed it,
Send it over.
the application in that envelope that got credited.
We'll just, how about we just rank
Yeah,
them?
that's fine.
If anybody has any.
Okay, so this one, it appears we have a valid packet,
Okay.
but all that's on the outer envelope is a signature. That is it.
That doesn't help.
Yeah, so we had instructed the workers not to look at the back, not to look at this, and not to look at the ballot as well. Again, you tell poll workers to do something, judges are elected to do something, and sometimes they draw outside the lines, and so that occurred. So the way that we have been doing this was, if somebody received one of these, I would essentially say, let's put this with the other ballots that we have here at the office that are not complete. I would just say forward to that, and we need to adjudicate those as well. But there's a
Right, because that one,
Right.
the vote would need to be cleared from their record.
I just found an outer envelope in this envelope.
What does that say?
This one says see page, and the page says in issue bin, but no form.
Yes.
So,
That's another one of those.
right, so it appeared that we actually have 10 outer envelopes
Yes,
and 1 application.
yes, that's correct.
So I'm gonna change the wording here.
Yes, that's another one where these did not have any forms associated
Yeah,
with them.
there's nothing
were-
inside.
They were just in the bin. Again, our runners were taking them over there, but it's,
Yeah, so we have two empty outer envelopes.
yes. Nothing in them, nothing to show. So those are count.
But yeah, somebody's gonna have shown.
That's right. We can over those. And this is the the other, this is the other category. So they're gonna be doing, there's gonna be one that's glued inside.
That's the
Is
one
that
I'm
it?
holding.
So that's one that we said to them, don't try to rip anything, we'll take it. So actually,
It's glued in there pretty securely,
I know.
almost like they used a high quality glue, not just like envelope.
You know, we'll grab that. So,
I mean, I think we can get it out, but
yeah, we can get it out.
it's in there.
That's on the verified through there.
All right, here's where someone used.
This one I think should count.
Oh, it should, it
Yeah.
should. But they even covered to know that, yeah, so
Yeah, it's,
we just want to make sure that. I don't.
I don't know.
We don't know, we do not know. We thought that maybe somebody was.
Oh, I see what happened.
What?
The envelope, the internal envelope was actually glued to it.
So they used some extra glue or something on the
Something,
secrecy
yeah, something.
envelope, and it spilled over.
Yeah, now we can have an envelope.
Cannot remove inner from outer.
All right, so that one, eventually, once we separate it, can go into good balance.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, now this was interesting. The person used a regular number 9 sized white envelope. It doesn't say secrecy on it, it's just,
And the rule is it must be the secrecy.
Well, yeah,
over to Steve.
yeah, oh, sorry. Thanks, Ally. Oh, let's see. Yeah.
Sure, we're not gonna have a tear either way.
Oh, it's bad. Even that's correct.
Cut the outside of the page.
Oh,
There it is.
Okay, all right, there we go. All right, we'll put it in the good folder.
yeah.
Okay, all right, there we go.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Just
Yep.
adhere it in there.
Okay, all right, there we
So I'm
go.
gonna put it back
Okay,
inside, best I can, stick it in with the ones that we're eventually gonna count.
and it has to be the, and we're gonna get to, you're gonna get the one where it's written on, somebody wrote it on there.
Somebody wrote the word
It's
security
good.
envelope on a number 9 envelope.
Official ballot envelope, yeah, but this,
Give it a shot.
so it would not, that would not count from my standpoint.
Now, the rule is it must be.
Yeah, it's gotta be the envelope, not closed in end envelope, but it closed in the envelope that was.
All right, this is interesting.
You'll like this, you'll
So,
both like this. I don't know this, I don't know how they got it.
I appear to have a real official election ballot security envelope that has something heavy paper inside of it, which is
Yeah,
good.
it's a ballot, yeah.
But somehow somebody has an absentee ballot stub that they photocopied some form.
So
to and
who
saved
was
it.
actually giving out stubs? BJC?
What's on the flip side there? What's on the flip side?
Because this is a screen print of their online
It
application.
says A.
This is a screen print of their online application, which they shouldn't owe. These were prepared at the beginning.
Yes.
Their stuff and mailed it to
Oh,
them.
they were supposed to
This
file
should
it
have been,
somewhere
yeah,
else.
this should have been filed with,
Okay.
so
That was
that's what
our
this is.
file.
Yeah,
And
so
they politely returned it to us.
So do you need this, or where do you want this
it
to
will need to
go?
be filed, but I didn't know if you needed to.
I don't think we need to keep
Yeah,
it
it's
now.
gonna need to be filed with our other apps.
All right.
Is
So,
it sealed?
oh yeah, it's sealed, there's something heavy inside of it.
I don't know.
So it appears that we have a valid ballot here and a
Yeah, I don't
very
think that's a problem.
polite citizen who returned our form to us.
I think we do.
There's something in there.
Yeah, there's definitely. I would say that would be
Okay,
good.
I would have concur.
Now we're up to, yep, 2 more good ones. Okay, what do we have here? Uh-oh.
That's always a good start.
Yeah, this is the one where they wrote official election ballot on an envelope they had lying around at the house.
Yep, unfortunately. I would say that is not Green County, unfortunately.
There's an example of how one got literally.
Did they take it, or was it?
No, it looks like it was slit from both ends
Alright.
and still joined in the middle. So I guess the slicer is.
Okay, I don't know where their outer envelope got to,
Yep.
but it would appear, here,
Yeah,
it would appear that the voter changed their mind and tried to use an ink eraser or something, at least once
yeah,
on the ballot.
and again, we told, we hammered it home. Please do not look at the ballot up front. It's not your job to look at the front and verify anything. Just extract it and see this. So
Somebody, I'm sure the Dean's gonna have some fun with that one.
that is, you can definitely tell that it is a smudge. If anybody else wanted to come see it, but I just didn't want to flip it over for the results. But you can clearly see it's got some sort of yeah. So that was in a secrecy envelope.
Yeah.
And we told everybody, just send it on to the team. If they can't scan it, let's look at it from this standpoint. So
Yeah, that might have to be manual.
yeah, I think. Yeah.
You were done deal with that one.
It's valid.
Yeah, it's a
in a
ballot.
security envelope.
It's just a matter of what it looks like when it comes through, whether it reads. As long as, I would say that we give this to, give this a look, because I want to make sure that
Right.
that the will of the voter is followed.
Appears they worked pretty hard on that one to change their mind. Look for that when we get back here, and then we'll go on to the next one.
Do we have a pile over there yet that's, we could maybe create a new folder over here? Yeah, I'll mark it up here. This would be, go to, what do you call it, affidavit, voter declaration?
Which one is that?
It's the one that just has a signature but no other information.
Yeah, it would be the missing affidavit stuff.
Okay.
You guys are gonna have to decide collectively. Currently, those vote totals, if we were pulled a report from Shore, those people, it's gonna end in the total of people that cast ballots on election day, because so you guys are gonna have to determine if you want those voided off their record, because your numbers will never dive between what was actually cast, because they couldn't be counted, and what the Shore is showing as people that were credited for voting.
Yeah, I think deciding that once I would say a tomorrow issue, my suggestion would be, so.
But yeah, we're already gonna be off by a minimum of one for that person that mailed us.
Oh, you're
an
gonna be off
application.
however many naked ones you have.
All right.
Well, no, you mean the application of the stub on it, or you mean?
No, I mean the one where they literally mailed us
Oh,
the.
well, yeah, all the naked, naked
Yeah, those are-
envelope, not a naked ballot, a naked envelope.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, what do you want to do next?
So
Oh,
this one, we still have a couple to
Oh,
go.
still got more.
Yep, get two more.
This one appears to be a valid ballot, but they signed their name on the ballot,
It shouldn't,
I don't-
No identifying marks,
on the ballot.
correct?
All right.
Or even the secrecy envelope, they're not allowed to have
On the
identifying marks.
Yeah, in the.
Because it's no longer secret.
In the blank portion, past the words "end of ballot," there's a signature.
Yeah, I mean, it's a,
There is
It's not
it is
a
clearly marked
smudge.
on there.
It's just past the word "end of ballot" on the far right side of the ballot itself.
That spoil
if you're saying.
Yeah, you can't have any identifying marks on the secrecy envelope or the ballot, because it's no longer a secret ballot then.
From my standpoint, I have only seen the secrecy envelope issue. I have not seen the ballot issue, because if I'm a voter and I walk up and I sign my name, it's going to be read by the M100, is it?
not your name.
I'm
No,
sorry?
you don't sign your name on your ballot. If you did on your ballot, it's gonna kick it out because it's not,
You'll kick it out?
Right, because
it's reading
it's looking at your ovals. So whenever that gets scanned in there, if that signature is any place it's not supposed to be, yes, it could potentially kick it out. But the point of a secret ballot is you cannot determine how that person voted.
I'm not talking, yeah, I appreciate the secret ballot thing. My point is that if nobody's looking at their ballot, nobody's gonna be looking at their ballot. They take it up to the DS200, they try to scan it in, will it kick it out?
It depends. It depends on where it is signed.
So I would say that when we do we may want to scan that one. And if it kicks it out, okay, but if it takes it, you're
but
good.
then when your ballots are examined, it's no longer secret for that person. Because if people are examining your ballot, say you have a recount, they're gonna know whose ballot that is. It's not secret.
But when you say it depends, if there's been votes that have been accepted at when somebody votes with a signature, they
It'd be
haven't
on
been
the
kicked.
write-in line.
Let's say it's not
Then
even
it's
right
not
in line. Do we test for that? Do we test for sign the ballot and do we kick back out?
Let's put this in the dispute file.
Yeah, maybe like
Further
Yeah.
discussion.
needs more attention.
Yeah, more attention. Put that in the need more
It's a
attention file because
positive thing to say.
we want to make sure. I don't want to disenfranchise anybody, but I also don't want to compromise somebody's
I would agree with
privacy.
yes.
Okay, needs more attention.
So,
The last of the others is sort of an essay question.
There you go.
Oh, it's English.
All right, something about, okay, oh, here it is. It would appear that the voter mailed us the stub that remains when you receive a voter certificate of voter registration. They mailed it back to us.
Talking about the card?
No, what, it's, yeah, I'll pass it down. But, yeah, they should have thrown that in there.
oh, it's their voter registration card.
Yeah.
Yes, it's their voter registration card.
That's again identifying their ballot.
But it doesn't identify ballots. It identifies the package that the ballot's in. If you remove that, then it
If you
becomes.
remove that, you have no idea who the person is.
Inner envelope has text, mark, or symbol which reveals the identity of the voter's political affiliation party. From that standpoint, it would be powerful because all you do is
Pull that out.
There's nothing on the envelope.
you shred it. I
Or
would say,
mail it back to them.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
I would say no. I maybe just do. I mean, I would be even okay with needs more attention, but
We can put it in the needs more attention.
so can we? Yeah. Okay. All right, yeah, I would say just because there's not.
I would not disqualify them on that basis.
I wouldn't either. It does protect the secrecy of it. However,
The ballot itself is not part of it.
yeah.
Okay, so we received one application and essentially 10 other envelopes. 1, 2, 3 of them are good.
Okay.
So minus 3 good ballots and 2 need more attention.
Right. So I would think.
All right, so Steve, can I have I think the rest of the stack ended up done at your end?
No, I passed it back. Did I pass
Others.
it back? Oh, he
Oh,
laid them out.
you laid them out
He
for everybody to
laid
see.
them out, yeah.
Okay.
Any other takers for looking at the, all good? Okay.
I can stick those back in that folder.
So these are done, not done, but we've gone through them all, right? We went through these are naked ballots, right? Okay. These are identified marks, went through that, right? Did
We have not gone through
Oh,
identifying.
that's why you do that. That'd be next. Okay, do you wanna,
Sure.
Steve, or what's your?
We can just start.
Okay, you've been doing a great job, Mark.
All right.
Love it. Love it.
It's just buzz through, unless there's something really exceptional, I mean, it's either gonna be.
There's some interesting ones in here. I'll put it
Okay,
down.
so there's no essay on this, but they claim there's some sort of mark. Yeah, there's some sort of mark on there. I think they wrote much of their name,
Yeah,
sort of like they were doing a return address.
yep, that would not count. Again, we put it right on there, as text, mark, or symbol. So first of all, it's gotta be a text, mark, or symbol, and then.
A smudge or a squiggle or your kid getting
Right.
gold magic markers or
Right,
something.
well, but then, you're right, exactly, but then it has to reveal the identity of their voter, political affiliation, voter standing preference. So thank you for,
This is clearly a
that's
name.
clearly,
Yeah.
and and I can see the signature is very similar, yeah, that's,
And here's another one. I don't know if it's the voter's name, but it's a name. Not a candidate's name.
no, that's the person's name. I mean, it's,
Okay, this one may be a little more ambiguous.
There's no outer envelope.
oh no, because it got to the point where.
Okay.
They didn't
Yeah,
see it
yeah,
until they
right,
get separated.
yeah.
Okay, on this one, it is an incredibly messy signature.
The problem is, the signature. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of, they signed on the poll, they signed on the.
My only comment here is I would not be able to know this person's name by that mark.
I think the challenge, my thing would be, the challenge would be that if you have a messy signature,
It's
but
identifiable.
here's the thing, you can look at their, I mean,
Yeah, okay.
that,
This one's not quite as bad as the prior one, but it's still a signature.
I think if they put, this is my bar, if they signed it or put their name on it,
Identifiable.
it's,
Another signature.
I don't like that that's the case, I don't, it is.
Is that 4 or 5?
This is 1, 2, 14.
It's a
Okay.
case they signed.
Yeah, we'll count at the end.
All right.
Don't tell me, get me wrong, I don't like the fact that it's a no, but that's the bar that we have, so.
How do you do this? It has his return address sticker on his official ballot envelope. Is that a mistake at the mailhouse or something?
Is it taped on there?
No, it's.
No, it looks
it's-
Printed
like
on?
it
No,
was.
it's a barcode.
It's a sticker.
It's the label.
So no,
No.
that's not the mail house. Those were the ones done at the VJC. I can see the letter written on it by hand from back here.
MI.
That's the VJC. Now, see, my opinion, and I'm not legal, that's not the voter's fault. But probably when they put the label on, they put it on the wrong one in the
Wrong
packet.
envelope, yeah.
I would agree.
That's kind of our mistake.
We could remove it since we are the ones who put it on. We could remove it, and therefore it was not something that they put on.
Right, but they're not
But
responsible.
actually, Michael, if you could also set that one aside so I can make sure it's credited, because we would have had to manually look them up by their name, because when we would want to credit them in the computer, the barcode's on the inside.
Right. It does come off.
Or you can just give me that sticker.
That's what I mean. Like we can.
On the outer envelope.
It's not the voters' fault. I would concur with that. Then we're rectifying the line again. end of the little trick here.
Oh, I know, that's usually when it tries to separate them. Sometimes hitting with a hairdryer for a couple seconds helps, but.
So, I mean, that would be, I think that would help with that. It was timely received, obviously. Was filled out back as hard, so that would be, I mean, I would proceed with counting that.
Yeah,
Okay, all
All
right.
right.
So that it's been switched over there. You want to pick, what, do you want to come out and write it down, or do you want?
Yeah, I'll write it down, so I can make sure. Your document.
This is gonna get
I'll
interesting.
never remember. Process, I just want you to make sure. I'm gonna read to you what I wrote down. 511.
Yeah. When you have another.
Yeah. That's the cut torn one. So this one is going to be with that one.
Right.
Do you want us to put it back into this folder here?
Yes.
Will be counted. Okay. Add that back.
Yeah, I don't see that there's anything that the voter did to, be grossly unfair like that.
All right. 3-letter initial on the other envelope.
Reveals the identity of the voter.
I would question that.
It reveals the identity of the voter.
Right. All I have is this.
Right.
It doesn't reveal the voter. But I'll agree that nobody.
I would agree. Somebody. We may be needing apologies.
That's
I
my characteristic.
I would agree.
We'll put that in the good
Which
section.
reveals the identity of the voter.
Oh, same thing. Double check the whole envelope, but 3 letters.
Once the envelope is removed, well, the outer envelope is removed,
Yeah.
there's really nothing but same. I would consider that.
I would agree.
All right.
Yep.
Now, somebody scribbled their initials.
So basically.
Even less identifiable. You know what that is?
So this is going to get into, that's their signature. That's their signature. So. So again, that gets into the signature that's messy or it's not plainly the English language or letter.
That is not the English language.
That's the thing. So then if you go back into, so, you know, the other ones we had, that was their name. It wasn't a
That's the.
The prior ones, at least half the name was
yeah. So,
legible. You could tell at least what half of their name was.
right.
I don't know what
I mean,
What's the language again about can identify the voter? What's the language?
Text mark or symbol which reveals the identity of the voter's political affiliation or party, or the voter's candidate preference.
so, I mean,
that is not, I struggle with that being identifying.
okay, I have no idea whose name it is. I mean, I'm not even, I have no idea. It's an A, a V, and an S and a Y. I have no
It's
idea.
just like a squiggle with me.
Well, can we take a look at the other one, and just go backwards a little bit to the two, we had two signature issue ones. I just want to make sure that.
Well, we have two initials.
No, not the initial ones, the
Well, the
counts. You want to say the
Those, I think they're still for
do
state.
you have the ones that signatures that didn't count? Are those them there? Okay, so let's put that there.
Okay,
Is this the one?
well, there were several.
Yeah, we're gonna, you tell who, I can tell the name, I mean,
Yeah,
that,
you can tell
okay.
what that last
You
name
can kind of
is.
tell.
so we're agreed that you can tell who that is?
Yes.
Okay, so that would not count. But then then this one,
It's almost the same. I'm trying to see a letter in that though. Can't see any letters.
Starts with a J.
Yeah.
And then it
I would have no idea whose last name it is.
I don't know what the first name is either, besides it.
That is, yeah, that's for this one here. But then I would think that is their signature. I mean, you can tell me that.
That's clear.
Oh, yeah,
That's an
I
identifier.
can tell you within a letter what that person's name is.
And then that, bless you. That's, you can tell it. What that
Yes.
says, yes. That's clearly,
Yes,
yeah, that's clearly,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so then these are the clearly, so do you want to, you'd like give me two forward, Mark?
Yeah.
So there's one would be, I would say, doesn't count or that's rejected.
like for identifying marks.
Yeah, they're either.
Yeah, there's several there that are clear distinctions.
So, okay, that's fine.
That's that one, and then these are the ones that we can't tell what the heck it says, so these we can't be the counts. Right? Yep, those are those. And then this one, we have three that are currently,
Sticking with the other. It's all ran the same way. Okay. We have a combination of cursive and block writing.
what do you think on that one?
Right on the hairy edge of.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, when the 2019, November 2019 prior, how would judges or at the location, they obviously would do this. They would remove it and inspect it for identifying marks.
Could have. They were instructed to.
Okay, all right. But in terms of, okay, I'll do that. Okay.
The signature is identifiable, and that's really about, I don't know.
Okay.
I put that in the to be determined pile. That's what I would do.
All right.
But Michael, we have to remember, we also only had several thousand ballots in 2019 because it was only absentee, so,
2016.
oh,
2016.
well, still, there was only absentees.
Oh, yeah.
still only absentees at that time, so we probably only had maybe 6,000 total ballots, so you have a much smaller pool.
So but this rule is still in place, wasn't it?
Right,
So
yeah.
we would have had we would have had naked ballots then.
I don't think naked ballots was enforced at that point. They literally just started that for this election.
Yes.
Like,
Okay.
we didn't even have that ruling for the primary. I'm sorry, I thought you meant the identifying mark.
Well, you for that too.
Yeah, you had a much smaller pool though, so,
Well, yeah, but very easily identifiable. Signature and handwritten.
No, signed by the person, yeah, that would be, I think that. Okay.
Goes in the rejected. Unfortunately, somebody with a fairly readable signature.
I would say, tell that.
We're back to a squiggle.
I would think that would count. You want to keep the counts down there, and I can do the rejected here? Do that, and Mark can feed us?
That's fine.
Are you, okay, you're good, Mark, with the, we'll turn to you.
Oh my. Editorial comment and
The editorial thing, that can be fine, they just written.
oh yeah, we couldn't identify them from
You
that.
said, I used glue, sorry. Okay,
Yeah.
but, yeah, okay, sorry.
All right. Wait till Steve's got that one processed, and then I'll send the next one. Mostly a squiggle. I can tell what the first letter is, I think.
So that's their name. What I'm gonna do, I mean, you can't, I don't think you can tell, you can tell the name if that. Okay. Let's go back.
Okay, this one appears to possibly be maybe our error. There is a small bit. Yeah, there's a small bit of the return address stuck to the envelope. I don't know how it got there.
Oh God, that's a lot. There's like a lump of glue there.
Yeah. Not quite the full name either, but it,
Got a little bit of an address there, it's got a little bit of their voter,
I think you always gotta count that one.
well, plus there's a possibility it's an error at our end.
Yeah, there's something.
I doubt the voter would.
Or that might not even be germane to the.
they're at the vote by mail room, closing things down right now. What are your thoughts on it?
I think we're leaning toward it being good because A,
Being good?
it's
Okay.
really not identifiable, and B, and if it is, it would appear to have been an error on our end of the process rather than the voter's end of the process.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, there's literally like a mound of glue
Yeah,
on it.
it's like some portion of someone's return address label got stuck.
Yeah, it's,
We don't even know if it's the voter's.
I would say it would count.
And another squiggle, I think.
I can't tell that.
All right,
Go ahead, pack it up.
Yeah.
Pack it up if you would. Yep.
stuff somewhat together. Editorial comment and fairly clear signature.
I can tell exactly what that is.
But that's a rejection.
Thank you.
Got a squiggle.
I would say that's, yeah.
Oh yeah, it did look very, very vaguely like Princess Glyph.
The artist formal.
The foreigners form.
That's right. So yes, that would.
Yeah, check it. You probably can't guess the name, but at least you know the first letter.
I'd have no idea. Looking at their name, I would have no idea that. But I guess.
I think that's correct. Bounce over that.
Oh my God.
That's always a good start.
Okay. This person sent us a color photocopy of their driver's license, but it is outside of the security envelope. It is not taped or attached.
I mean, if you go like this, so I just removed it, and all that stuff stayed in here.
Yeah.
But that's like the voter card one that you put in for like checking legally.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, I think the voter card was in here. Voter card
No, it was outside the secret. You put it over in the check into one.
is that. Can you look? It needs more attention.
Yeah, there was one with the voter
It
card.
needs more attention here.
Yeah.
No, I think
Well, in my humble opinion, it's outside the envelope.
I'm not sure if it was in a folder over here, Michael, but it was the one where the voter ID card was just like that driver. You put it in and needs more attention.
I think you need to count that one.
You think just count it? Okay.
I mean, it's not
Once it's removed, yeah, it's not attached to the
attached to the security envelope.
Again, the way the process was working is they would have just gone like this.
Right.
And then this carries on. Okay, so this would be it counts.
Yep.
All right?
Okay, so then if you're counting that one, you need to go into the voter card and make that account.
Yeah, but let me.
Maybe it's down.
Yeah, so we're at the point where it's like this, it's in there.
Oh, got it.
No, like, right? Okay.
It's just
So
stuck
in that one, it appears
the
they're
envelope.
inside of the security envelope itself.
That's a need more attention this one.
But no, I'm trying to keep track.
So you're good.
No, I'm not good because this was an inner envelope and these were others. Because at this point, Mike, we're not doing a count of what I'm pulling out of here. The way we come back with a count is to count our separate stacks.
Okay.
I have to take one.
That's okay. All right. Okay. So I was.
So this is good.
Yeah,
This is the good.
this is good one. I replaced the one that had the voter ID card.
Yep. This one may appear to have been a mistake. I mean, there's tape.
Again, some of the extractors were there were some that were just not even close to. If they tape the envelope shut,
Hey,
that
I'm
counts.
gonna identify somebody based on some scotch tape.
It is fine. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. legible. So maybe yeah,
I gotta make a fairly reasonable guess at that. Sloppy, but I can tell you the first name. I mean, it's a bit messier, but probably goes in the same order.
yeah. I was gonna say that's the last. I could. Yep. Yep.
They're on the edge for me.
Is it okay? The last name is a little tricky, but
Yeah, the first name you can see what the date disqualifies it.
I don't think it does. No, you can write
Yeah, I
it.
don't think the date is.
Want to do a questionable?
Yeah,
Why don't you
I
do it?
That-
Needs
that's
more
right.
attention.
It's bad another look.
The questionable one, this one's, quick note and, initials.
I mean, there's a million people that could be that official. And there's nothing on that side. I think it's fine. What's the guy's name was sealed? It's not.
I was gonna say, the name is sealed. No, it's not sealed. That's fine.
I don't think he lives in the county.
That's together. Yeah. Yeah, that's.
Handwriting is spidery, but I can read it.
Oh, the address. Yeah.
Oh, the address?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Oh, nice guy.
Well.
Address and a somewhat legible signature.
That's an identifying character.
Fairly legible signatures.
Yeah, well, that's the name. Don't have the
We
outside,
don't have the outer.
but that's,
but
yeah,
it-
I was.
This one's double initial, almost like they're trying to do a wax seal, but it's stamps.
We had, I don't know if there might be a few of those lined back up. I think that's fine. It's initial, I don't think that is. All right, that's
This
okay.
is the same thing.
Yep, we just put it in there just to have, just a mark, let's just, I no issue. No issue.
It's literally a little
Something unusual name.
tiny little initials on there.
That's pretty, I guess.
Is that all of them?
No, we got a couple more to go,
okay,
almost,
I
almost.
think that's fairly identifiable. Yeah, in terms of, anybody wanted to grab their laptops or anything, or, if anything? We can always give you a heads up if there's
Oh,
anything.
wait, this was identifiable, right?
That's
Please put it.
Which one was that?
oh, I'm sorry.
Rejected.
This one.
That's just teeny tiny
Yep,
initials.
I don't